Hey everybody, it's Rob the Backyard Gardener, and it's time to get you updated on my pear trees that I grew from seed. You'll recall in previous episodes, and I'll have a whole playlist to my pear trees grown from seed down below, and I'll even throw a link to it above as well. That way you can check it out if you're not caught up. But I started these from store-bought D Anjou pears on July 10th, 2016. So we're right around 56 and a half months since I've started these from seed, and you'll recall in the last episode that we were right around 46 months, and I had told you that I had a struggling one, a replanted one, and one that I was very proud of. Well, I'm super excited about today's update because you won't believe it. In 56 and a half months, we now have one of those seeds, one of those D Anjou seeds, starting to produce flowers. So before I get started with showing you the trees, and I won't take long on this, I do want to remind you that we have never, on even my Bartlett or my Orient pear tree, the ones I bought from a nursery that I planted several years ago, I've never been able to get a fruit to ripen in my yard. Mainly because we've had really mild winters over the last several years, and we haven't had enough chill hours to produce enough flowers to get any fruit that can be pollinated and of course ripen. But as many of you know, we had that really hard Texas freeze this year, and it has made many of my stone fruit trees, like my peaches and my pears, start to flower. So I'm super excited because not only is one of my D Anjou trees that I started from seed flowering, all of my pear trees have flowers, and I think we even have some fruit sets. All right, enough chit chat. Let's walk around to the side of the yard. I'm gonna start off the updates with the runt that's next to that dryer vent. I need to move that guy, and I think I know where I'm gonna put him. And then I gotta show you the one that I replanted last year in what I call the dead zone, the side of the yard where it seems like every tree I put there has struggles. And then I'll update you on my D Anjou grown from seed that's flowering, as well as the Bartlett and Orient. Man, I said it'd be quick and it's been long. I'm sorry. Let's go look at these trees. So you'll recall in the last update that I was concerned about this Blackberry Bush that I grew from seed, and it's really taken over, but I trimmed it down a lot, and I think for sake of just safety for this tree, I'm gonna end up taking it out of here. This is the runt. This one has been struggling mainly because of the heat of the brick. It gets completely full sun on this side of the yard for most of the day, and that dryer vent. But anyway, it has came back once again, and it does look good in the spring and early summer, but by the time the summer gets into full gear, this guy gets worse and worse. At the end of the day, though, with this Blackberry Bush, the dryer vent, everything growing in here, this guy has struggled. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is pulling this guy out this year and putting him in place of the next one that I'm gonna show you. Just wanted to show you the runt. He is doing better than the second one I'm gonna show you, but again, this is not the best spot for him. And honestly, I think what I wanna do is just keep this to be a Blackberry Bush area and not worry, because it does fine against the brick, and in here it produces a lot of fruit. So we're probably gonna end up moving this guy. I'll show you what I'm gonna do with him next, but let me go ahead and show you the second tree that I think has perished. So on this side of the yard, last year we replaced the crabapple tree with that live oak that I grew from an acorn, and I have a video on that. I'll put that down below. The apple trees I'll update shortly, but this pear tree, this D Anjou pear tree, if you recall in the last video, I pointed out that it looked like it had some fire blight and all the leaves were doing poorly, and it lost all its leaves late summer, and it has not sprouted any buds. It might be alive, but I'm pretty much thinking that it's not. I don't see any green under here. It's looking pretty tough. Maybe slightly green. I'm gonna give it a few weeks to see if any buds form on it, but I'm pretty sure this one has perished, and this would be the third tree in this spot that I have planted that has not made it, and I don't know why. The majestic crabapple does fine, and my other apple tree does fine, but something is causing my trees right here to perish. But I'm willing to give it one more shot, because if this one doesn't come back, I think I'm gonna relocate that other D Anjou pear tree, the one on the side of the yard that we just looked at, and I'm gonna put it here in its place. Again, I'll wait a couple of more weeks, see if this guy comes back, but I'm pretty sure based on what I'm seeing, it's probably a goner. I mean, it's brittle, nothing's alive that I can tell. Isn't that right, Kai? Isn't that right? All right, now that we've looked at these two, let's go look at the beautiful one on the other side of the yard. So I apologize if it's kind of loud for my pull equipment, but I want to make sure you guys get a good look at this one. This is the one last year that has just continued to grow, 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 and grow. And he is getting his leaf buds, so that's great. As you can see, maybe you can see. And those are starting to come along, but what I'm really excited about is he actually has a flower cluster there, and then way at the top, he's got a couple of more flower clusters. Now those came in early. I don't know if he's gonna get more. I don't know if he's gonna get any fruit sets, but the fact that this is 56 months old, grown from seed, and already has 3 flower clusters, that makes me super excited. I'm praying that he has more flower buds coming in, but if not, then I'm hoping that one of those 3 flower clusters produces at least 1 edible pear fruit that we can try out this year. Anyway, not much to look at yet because he hasn't got his foliage on, but at the end of the day, I wanted to show it to you. He's probably right about now around 12 feet tall. I can reach up to 8 feet, which is about here, and that's at least 3 to 4 more feet above that. So definitely excited about seeing what happens with this tree. And obviously at the next update, I'll update you on if any of those 3 flower clusters have produced any fruit, and or if there's any other flower clusters that come along. Now that we've looked at him, let me show you my Bartlett and Orient pears that have also flowered this year. Thankfully, and I don't know if that's the right word, but thankfully due to the hard freeze we had. So down here we have my Bartlett pear tree, and it has grown super well this year. And I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this. I'll try to zoom in, but there are flower clusters all over this tree, and several of them had bees on them over the past several weeks. So I'm pretty certain that we probably are gonna get some fruit clusters on this one. Because what's nice is my Bartlett pear tree, as well as over this way, my Orient pear tree also flowered, and I don't know how well you're gonna see it. It's way up there, but the majority of the fruit on this one are at the 14-foot height. And so I didn't want to chop him down at all because I knew that the freeze would probably produce flowers, and I wanted to see if he could fruit. We didn't get very many flowers on the lower levels of this tree, but at the end of the day, we had my Orient pear tree flowering, my Bartlett pear tree flowering, and then of course my D Anjou tree grown from seed flowering. So I'm very optimistic that we're gonna get some fruit on either the D Anjou, the Orient, or the Bartlett this time. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick look at these. I'm super excited, like I've said a few times, because I actually have flowers. Will I get some fruit? I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's pear tree grown from seed update, month 56 and a half. I know you guys are probably excited as I am to see if we get any fruit on any of my pear trees this year, especially the one grown from seed. I will keep this series updated. Even if we don't set fruit, I'll let you know how we're doing on them. Let me know what you think about that tree that looks like it died. Should I try to continue to work on it, or should I just pull it, hedge my losses, and get the other one in that spot? Or maybe don't even put any more trees in that spot if they keep dying there. I'd be interested to know in the comments down below. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone for watching all of my Grown from Seed series that I have. I plan on updating the kiwi, the apples, the citrus, the avocados, and others over the next several weeks, and stay tuned for those. I also want to make mention that I will be doing a video here shortly on my tomatoes and potatoes that I'm putting in the ground, letting you know what varieties that I'm growing and what I can expect as far as a crop this year, since we've been taking a lot more measures to remove a lot of the nesting places for a lot of the wild critters that like to hang out in my yard. Hopefully you enjoyed this pear tree grown from seed update. If you did, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy gardening, and thanks for watching.
I hope we get some pears this year.